my prayer, my sacrifice, my living, and my dying are for Allah, the Lord of the worlds. No partner has he, as I am commanded, and I am the first of those who submit to his will.
Okay, mashallah.
So this says it, mashallah, like right there, you're going to live and die by the sword of Allah. And when you make your sacrifices, as your sacrifices need to be there to be made, Allah will be there.
So can you clarify for some of our listeners that may hear the word sacrifice and two Muslims talking about it and have a heart attack? Can you explain what you mean by sacrifice?
So when I say sacrifice, I don't mean you're going out and necessarily killing a sheep or your child. I don't mean that. I mean when you put Allah first, Allah will come.
So when you say
Allah will always be with you, and you will always be covered.
So
because you're doing and giving in the name of Allah or in the sake of Allah.
So when you say sacrifice, you're talking about, okay, before I was Muslim, not me, but before somebody was Muslim, they really love pork. They love some bacon. They love some ham hocks.
Exactly.
So
you love some ham hocks, and by coming to Islam,
alhamdulillah, you give it up, inshallah.
For Allah, you gave up something that you still really love and you enjoy, and that you know you'll never have again.
Mm-hmm.
In this life. I don't know about in the next. Like, all I can speak about is now.
Mm-hmm.
And you gave that up for Allah, and that Allah is going to love you more for that, and you're going to love Allah more for what you gave up for the sake of Allah.
So, we could talk all day about this, and we're getting off track here. I really want to go there.
To the dialogue and discussion.
Listeners, this was supposed to be the 6 misconceptions about Islam, but as you can see, we've
need to elaborate on this a little bit if you feel that
we've veered left, because this right, because this 4th point was actually supposed to be, that Islam is imposing, that it is just a religion, and that it should remain just a religion. And as Sister Ralia so eloquently explained to us, leaving us wanting for more, actually, Islam is a complete way of life. And this is the final point that I wanted to say on this, and I'm sure you can attest to this as well. We see celebrities, rich people, regular people doing crazy stuff. People getting their faces tattooed, or people getting all kinds of plastic surgery to fill that emptiness, that void. Humans were designed by the Creator to worship something.
And not just any something, but Allah.
Exactly. So do you think when you see people who are...
Not the rocks and the pebbles you just pick up down the street at your
child. Right. So when you see what do you think when you see people acting crazy in society, just doing, outlandish things, and, they have all this money they're spending on everything, but you can obviously see that they are still not happy. They still don't have that peace. Do you think that's because they have not sacrificed themselves? Let me preface again. Sacrifice, we mean giving up things that you enjoy. Giving up things that don't serve you any purpose. Okay, so when you see people living that way, do you think that that's because there's a void that hasn't been filled? That's how I see it.
That's the way that I see it. I see that they're missing the foundation of their life, or the foundation that they used to have. They need to return back to it. It's just like sometimes when you go through a hard time in life, maybe as a teenager, as an adult, maybe you were married, maybe you're divorced, and you go through some really hard times, and then all of a sudden your life falls apart and it's in shambles, and then you have to think back. What was my foundation? What did I build myself on? Was that having a good home? Was it always submitting and pleasing my family? Was it always going to the mosque and going to Juma? If those are the things that founded you, and you got away from that, then that's what you need to return back to.
Yep. And
so you can reground yourself, because you can always recharge. We all need to recharge.
That's so true.
Recharge.
And you just made me think of something. If you invest in your life so much on, you know, your job, money, fame, whatever it is, those things are going to fade. But Allah is always going to be there. So I think that's also when people have a hard time when something bad happens, because they put everything into something that's fallible.
Yeah. You put all your eggs in one basket, but sometimes those eggs need to be split.
Right, you put your eggs in a glass basket.
You don't always put your eggs necessarily in the right basket, because you're not necessarily living to please other people or to please Allah. You're just living to do what you got to do to get by that works for you in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So do you want to continue to the next misconception, or you just want to keep rolling with this? Because this is great. I feel as though this flows better than trying to have something organized. I don't know how you feel.
Oh, no, we can do that too. Yeah, that's totally fine. So we can just keep going from here and then jump into the next topic?
We can. Okay, we got 9 minutes left. Can we cover hijab in 9 minutes?
Ooh, that's going to be kind of tight. We might be able to cover it. Let me see. Yeah. Let me look at my notes, what I wrote down. Yeah, I think if we go about it the way we just went about the other one, then we can go about,
Because I think this is great. This is actually going better than the first 15 minutes. Yeah, or the first 15 minutes. I apologize, everyone.
I just wanted to jump in and be like, trolls.
Right. Maybe next time we'll just go live. Just straight away go live. Yeah.
There's no problem.
Inshallah.
Okay.
So hijab, Sister Ralia, what is hijab?
Hijab is, it's not just the scarf or the head veil you see on the head of a Muslim woman, or the dress you see of a Muslim woman, or the certain types of dress you could see on a Muslim man. Hijab is defined as your outer loose garment that is a protection for you and anyone who is not able to see you when you are outside of your non-Islamic clothes.
Okay.
So basically, that's the headscarf or the head veil, a loose garment, preferably for a woman, an abaya or a dress that's loosely fitted, that falls below the knee, and hides your adornments. And some would say, depending on who you follow, depending on who you follow Islamically, covering your feet. So, I mean, putting socks on your feet as well. If you see some of the Muslim sisters who go a step further for the sake of Allah and they take their hijab to a niqab,
mashallah,
that would be, mashallah, that would then lead to them having an extra piece over the face, allowing you just to see their eyes. And for some women, that would also include as well, or some Muslim women, that would also include the covering of the hands.
Okay, we could do a whole episode on niqab, actually. Could you briefly just tell our listeners what niqab is?
So, you mean as far as the way you wear the niqab, or which way?
Well, what is niqab? Because I hear it always called the veil, which, you know, gives it some kind of creepy undertones, and it's not that exactly. So what is niqab?
Niqab is an extra layer of fabric. I wish I had the exact place in the Quran where it talks about, I mean, not the Quran, the story, but I will get to that. I will tell the story if I can think of it, bidni ta'ala.
Inshallah. Well, we got 5 minutes left.
Okay, pause it. So the niqab is just an extra piece of clothing, fabric that has a place that your eyes go, and it ties behind the head, and it covers your entire face. And people don't Muslims who decide to wear the niqab, they don't do this because they don't want to talk to you, or because they don't speak English, or to avoid you, or so that you think they got like 12 bombs up under their abaya or anything like that. No, it's nothing like that. This is something that they do solely for the sake of Allah. These are pious women that are just as pious as a woman who just wears the hijab. She's not abused. She is a woman or a Muslim woman who is treated very well. Most Muslim women, alhamdulillah, are treated very well
this
by
is
their
very
families,
true. Mm-hmm.
By their families and by their husbands and by their children. We are treated like diamonds in the rough. You know, our husbands treat us well. They buy us gifts. They help us with cooking. They help us with cleaning. They help us take care of the kids. And more. And we can get into the rest of what goes on behind that, inshallah, in a later video. But just so you know, we are not oppressed women. We dress the way we dress solely for Allah and the sake of Allah. Our husbands do not make us cover our face. Our husbands do not make us wear the hijab. The hijab is required, and it does state so in the Quran.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Yes, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
It's if I'm reading this correctly on here, it's chapter 30, chapter 31, ayahs 24 through 30, and I will double check that. My computer didn't translate my writing correctly, so I will double check that, inshallah, and make sure that is correct and add that into the next video.
Inshallah.
But I'm pretty sure it is that place, and it says also for this ayah, tell the believing men to cast down their looks and guard their private parts. That is pure for them. Surely Allah is aware of what they do. And tell the believing women that they cast down their looks and guard their private parts, and do not display their ornaments except what appears thereof. Indeed, before addressing women and telling them to conceal their bodies, Allah first addresses the believing men and tells them to lower their gaze.
MashaAllah. I don't want this to cut you off because what you're saying is absolutely wonderful. It's great. And you ended it with something I would like to pick up on next episode, that men also have a hijab that needs to be adhered to, because you kind of touched on it a little bit, but we didn't get to go into depth. And that's another misconception that you know, women are just put on the front lines. Oh, well, Islam is oppressive. Right. Look, she has to wear that garbage bag and all of this. No, men have.
Yeah, and I talk a little bit about that in the hijab part, too, of my notes. And I even brought up, and I have to find the story, and if you have it handy, I might actually just ask you to email it to me. The story of Surah Yusuf, how he was attacked by the
Oh, that's right, that's right.
I think that is something that's a very good story that any Muslim or non-Muslim should be familiar with.
MashaAllah, yeah, inshallah. So, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sticking this out with us as we try to iron out the kinks. I hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed talking and sharing with you. So, this has been episode 1, 6 misconceptions about Islam. Obviously, part 1, because we didn't get to everything. From the Straight Path, Straight Talk channel, I am Sister Aziza.
And I am Sister Rawia.
So, inshallah, we will see you next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.